We saw that the arc to a scaled, profitable business was a long way off, 5 years plus out. And so what we've decided is that we're going to reallocate our capital. We're going to focus on L2 plus and L3 driver assistance technologies, where we can give our consumers time back in their vehicle in the near term and give them a better experience. And we think that that's going to be a much more profitable, scaled business in the near term.
That was Ford's CFO John Lawler speaking to our morning team earlier today. The group recorded an $827 million net loss in the third quarter. That was partly due to costs related to its autonomous vehicle unit. It's joining Volkswagen in taking a sharp turn away from fully autonomous driving, and they are shutting down the Argo AI unit they both backed. But what about that argument that self-driving cars are the future? Pras Subramanian here to tackle that question. Pras, we always knew it was going to be a tough hurdle, but it does feel like companies are sort of saying it's now or never. Is it worth the investment?
Yeah, it's like this challenge of our times, what they're kind of phrasing it as. And, like level 2, level 3, where the car can do some things on its own, but you're still there with the steering wheel. That's doable. They're working on Ford Blue Cruise and GM Super Cruise, things like that. It's the level 4 and 5 where there is no steering wheel perhaps, and you are not doing anything. That is like what John was saying, beyond 5 years from now. Not next year, 5, 10, who knows, 15. And I think that's the problem. They're sort of seeing that with Argo. They couldn't raise new funds, and both VW and Ford thought, hey, you know what? Let's pull the plug, bring these guys in-house, and we can work on those L2, L3 solutions.
Do you think this is a surprise to the industry? Is this going to have ripple effects as far as other automakers that are also going into full autonomy?
I think there's two parts to that, right? So the surprise headline from yesterday of this happening was a huge surprise. No one saw this happening. No one saw it coming. In fact, Argo was talking about expanding into other markets just only a month or two ago. But I think the writing has been on the wall for a while because we have seen this uptake being so slow. The challenges are still there. We kind of industry analysts sort of seeing that this might take some time. But this is the first time we're seeing Ford and also like someone in the industry players saying that this actually is very challenging. We may not see this through for a long time. So that was surprising.
What about this argument that's been around for years, which is that essentially, even with these investments in place, this is kind of where the future is headed. We've heard Elon Musk talk a lot about how, 80% of the time your car is parked. So you can, if you've got fully autonomous driving, then you can actually have somebody else take over the car when you're basically not driving it. I mean, does all that use case sort of break down?
I think if you're Tesla, they would say, no, we're still working on that robo-taxi car. It won't have a steering wheel, and we want it to be sort of running around when you're not using it. But I think this shows you that how difficult that is, and maybe that is showing a little kind of crack in the armor that maybe this AI autonomous stuff is not fully there yet, and it needs a lot more computing power or whatever else needed to actually make the solution happen.
Does this give more strength to Tesla, you think?
I don't know. I know we're going to talk about this later, but they're under investigation potentially for some potentially misleading claims about that. We'll see if that actually leads to anything, criminal-wise. But I think that it just shows the doubt that's there right now, and maybe that we should be focusing more on the L2, L3, where we can drive on the highway, take your hands off the wheel, it can follow a car, maybe even exit off, park, exit.
Parking is very important.
No, it's a big deal. I think those L2, L3 stuff is like that's actually usable stuff happening now. That's very useful, and it kind of takes a strain off driving. So maybe we'll see more of a lean in on that, and more of the futuristic stuff is way more. Let's get to Mars first.
And perhaps it's not for everybody. Perhaps this isn't something where you're going to have everybody driving without their hands on the steering wheel at all. Perhaps it's going to be a combination.
Yeah, real quick, I think they're seeing that more with trucks, where you're doing this long haul, just going straight somewhere. You're not doing a lot of engaging with other people and other cars. That might be the better use case for an autonomous technology going forward.